Hello Duelist, this is Tom Boxer, welcome to MST.TV, and today's video we are doing a replay-ish video. Thank you, Patreons. I got my upgrade, I got my cam link, my Elgato cam link, so if you guys want to do get a better camera and maybe you want to record directly into your computer with a high quality camera, whether it be your DSLR, go ahead and get yourself a cam link, and that's all I can say for now. But thank you guys. Now that I got this upgrade, I am actually enjoying my setup a lot more. So, regardless, now this video here is actually about Diablos. Now, the previous video I uploaded was about the various things you could do with the build of my Darkest Diablos deck. And it is a very fun mechanic to be able to tribute off your opponent's monster because they think they're getting the best setup ever, but if they can't answer your back row or your quick effect monster, you can tribute off their stuff, regardless or if you can target them or not. Of course, Diablos, one of the best things about him is you can't target him and can't tribute him off. He's not kaijuable, and you can't really target him, but he is not immune to destruction. Now, I got a couple of replays for you guys to talk about various matchups. Some of them are a bit more sacky than others, but hey, sacking is kind of part of the game too. Now, in this warm-up video, so this is the first video, I'm versing against a guy playing Archfiend. Not very impressive. It basically no hand trap. I could do whatever I want, but if you open with a Grinder Golem and a way to throw a Darkworm into the graveyard, let's just say that is actually one of the best openings you can get because you're guaranteed a 4-card draw with the Saryuja, and on top of that, you can actually special summon out your Darkest Diablos thanks to Saryuja's effect. So you got a lot to do here. I got a Mind Crush here as well, and you can dig 4 cards. If you get Mind Crush plus, you know, I've mentioned this so many times before, which is Mind Crush plus a virus, you can usually secure control against your opponent. You're not guaranteed to win because depending on the deck, if your virus hits nothing, your Mind Crush isn't as strong. The more your viruses hit, the stronger it becomes. So let's look into this build. So he starts off, doesn't start off strong, he passes turn. So this is the warm-up video. We'll get into some more crazy matchups like Pendulums and Lightsworn. So starting off with Dragon Ravine. Dragon Ravine does get me the dump, and I get to put a Darkest Diablos into the graveyard. Starting with a Grinder Golem play. This is TCG, I'm not running Security Dragon, so there goes the Linkuriboh. Linkuriboh is a must play because Linkuriboh, you'll see very soon, tributes off the token to summon out the Diablos, and now you got 3 dudes that get the draws, dump the cards that you don't need, put the Darkest Lair on the board, tribute off the problem card, and now you can go for the big swing. Now, some of you guys might be wondering, couldn't I have OTK'd him at this point? Well, I didn't know that. Well, actually, I couldn't have OTK'd him, mainly because I needed the Saryuja. I could have went to an Underclock Taker, make my Grinder Golem 0, tribute off his monster. Yeah, perhaps I could have gotten an OTK from there. Remember, the whole Firewall 1-card Grinder Golem or I guess OTK, you can perform it just as well with the Darkest Diablos because if you put an Underclock Taker right here, make the Grinder Golem 0 attack, swing over for 6k with a Topologic Bomber, and then if you use Darkest Diablos to tribute off your opponent's card, well then you have another free swing right there. So it's actually a ton of damage, easy OTKs, and hand control. And basically at this point he's going to scoop because I have Full Force Virus. Yeah, sure, he can give me a Lava Golem, but that's not going to do very much. He draws a Raigeki. I know what he's drawing. I get rid of the Raigeki. And basically that ends the game right here. He's not going to continue. So that was one of the sackier plays where you open with Darkworm and you get a Grinder Golem. Of course, Grinder Golem is a one-of. You're not guaranteed to get him unless you choose to play certain cards to fetch him. But you know what? Let's move on to a more competitive-ish matchup. I'll get to the most competitive at the end. Alright, for the second game here, it is versus 60-card Lightsworn. This guy did open with Grass, and I am actually switching out my build to use the trade-in Melody engine. So you can use Melody of the Awakening Dragon to actually add 2 copies of Diablos to your hand, and then you can trade it into the graveyard. It doesn't matter because he can always proc in the graveyard. So in this case, I did open the Dragon Shrine and the Terraforming. If you have both of these cards, you're usually in a very good spot, especially when you already contain, in my hand, I have an Arima. So you know what, let's see how this plays out. I believe I am going first, and then I'm going to get the Darkworm. See, this is the part I don't like because now I can't use the 7-sword engine to get rid of this card. So focusing on the tributes to get the draws, now put him in the graveyard. So rather than immediately just summoning out the Diablos, I went with the trade-in, dump him in the graveyard. So right now I can't exactly proc off the Full Force Virus, but here I'm actually expecting to use Metaverse to tribute off his dude, because Metaverse putting the Lair of Darkness on the field after he commits to the board usually works out a bit better. Unfortunately, of course, my opponent draws Twin Twister, clears off my board, so I decide to recover a field spell, giving me Lair of Darkness, and he goes Grass, and man, what a mill! Unfortunately, his mill was... Okay, you know what? He's actually got a ton of stuff in here. He's ready for BLS. He's got his BA stuff in here. So this guy is pretty BA heavy tech. And he's got a snow in there. In other words, it was not bad of a mill. And he's getting a wolf to go off against me. So, let's see how far he actually pushes. Farva banishes up my Arima. Arima will come back. And he gets himself... Oh, that was kind of a waste of something right there. So Minerva, now this guy is actually going all in here. So he actually went to Minerva with the wolf that he summoned, and he decided to get the huge mill here. Allure of Darkness. That's a bad allure here, but he did get himself a glow bulb and another copy of Snow. So no overall losses. And then Eclipse Wyvern's gonna go off, but there's nothing left because apparently I think he actually banished most of his targets here. JD is gone. Okay, so he goes with a Glow Bulb summon and passes turn. That is a bit unfortunate. If he actually managed to get an Earth monster onto the field, and then I think he runs into Naturia Beast. No, that can't be right. They have to run Naturia Beast. I got a couple of cards that haven't loaded yet. That's kind of awkward. So clearing, no Naturia Beast in here. Okay, well, in a Pendulum kind of setting, you would normally do it. But anyways, so moving on, I get Steam to Hook, which is really godly because I'm tossing this into the grave. It has a tribute-based effect. I can tribute off my opponent's card, getting rid of the Minerva without giving the effect. Steam combined with Diablos is very good because now I get myself a level 1 token, which gives me Link Karibo access. Link Karibo access, now do a trade-in, keep on going. Now, this is kind of a funny card, King of D, because King of D lets you add a copy of the Melody of Awakening Dragons, but sadly, it's kind of a bit too late because I already have 2 copies, so this is just a bit of a waste. It comes up sometimes. I don't exactly recommend it until you guys, maybe you guys have a better build, maybe maybe you can show me about it. But for now, I'm just gonna keep going with this. So he's gonna go with Snow. Snow has to book that because this can't flip face down, this can't be targeted, so this is the only guy that has to go. So get a free punch in there. Lair of Darkness gives me a token, 2 tokens because I tributed twice. And Twin Twister, pretty useless, so he's gonna go with the Destrudo. Here, this is the unfortunate part. I have no way of stopping a Black Rose. The Black Rose is gonna blow the entire board. It's okay, I have Grinder Golem, and a late game Grinder Golem is pretty insane. Because a late game Grinder Golem not only generates a token, I already have Link Karibo in the graveyard, which means I get all the benefits. And Dragon Shrine just seals the deal even further, giving me that Dark Room. So this is a late game combo, and you can easily perform the Topologic OTK from this point. So people are like, oh man, he's probably just going into Saryuja. I'm like, no man, I'm just gonna kill you now. Yeah, see, here's the problem with Snow. Snow can only, and don't get screwed over by your opponent like kind of rule sharking you, or like not rule sharking, actually just cheating against you. The card text of Snow does state that you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. So you can't book down his own Minerva, because that would have been a pretty good play. If he actually booked down the Minerva, he wouldn't have taken as much damage. So maybe he would have survived this. Probably, I think actually probably would have survived it too. And getting rid of the Grinder Golem was also a very good choice because if he booked the Minerva and you summon a new monster, I would hit the Grinder Golem for sure. And then I'll use Lord of the Lair to hit the Minerva for game. But instead, since that's not possible, I get to burn him for 2,000 and really get the game right there. So all in all, in this play, this was showcasing if you top deck into a late game Grinder Golem while the whole thing is set up, you have Topologic OTK. So this replay is actually a bit of more of a fun one. We have a burn deck versus, well, I guess this deck here. I am a sack. I'm just getting a bit straight up. I'm a sack. I open with Epidemic Eradicator, and I have a Dark Worm to get myself a draw with the 7 swords. I think the 7 sword engine is a little bit more consistent, but you do lose out on cards later on. Like, you can't reuse it. Now, I'm running a level 7 Radiant, so I can just trade this off, but I prefer to get rid of my scale. But then I can also put this on the scale to Pendulum summon out this Arima, King of Wickedness. But let's just go into this. So he's playing Burn. He's got all the Burn cards. He's got the Digging right here, set 4, Secret Blast, Secret Blast, Ring of Destruction, Dimension Wall. He's just trying to one-shot me here. So starting off very strong, Arima, and he pops the Arima so I don't get my tribute. So this is the bit of a problem here. I have my Epidemic Eradicator, I have a full force virus, but I have nothing to proc it. I am not too afraid of what he has right now, simply because I know he's playing a burn deck since he revealed the Ring of Destruction, and that was enough for me to kind of like, oh, he's probably not going to run this over, but then I did not expect him to summon Matayan. So he's going to go double Secret Blast, so burning me for about 12-12, then summon the Meta Ion, and then I have to bounce this back. I'm like, okay. So that's a Blazing Mirror Force. Here's the fun part. I have Sacred Sword of 7 Stars once again. I can dump my card to the graveyard. I put the Destrudo into the grave. Get my bunch of draws. Pay half my life. Like, that was super risky. I'm like, what if he just burns me right now? I'll take 15. If he uses a copy of Secret Barrel of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I would be at 200. It wouldn't take very much to actually kill me now. However, due to the fact he's going to activate anything, I go with the Dark Strike Fighter, burn him for the 14, that summons out the Diablos, and then I Epidemic him and get rid of all his traps, and he immediately scoops right there. Because if you actually resolve one Eradicator, the game is over. Because most of the methods that deck would actually search traps would be to just draw them or use Balance of Judgment. However, they can use Lilith. Lilith can help them set traps. So I think even for a chain burn deck, you gain a lot of consistency just because you have Lilith to actually dig for your traps now. So that's something that you should be very careful of. You could be playing against a burn variant of the Darkest deck. So, you know what, let's move on to another matchup. We're going to the mirror matches now, and I actually got 2 replays for mirror matches. They're very, very difficult to play. So, starting off with a Mech Knight versus Pure. I'm playing the Pure, the other guy's playing Mech Knights, and seems like we all have the common idea that Dragon Ravine is probably the best way to actually go with this, because Dark Worm Engine is just far too good not to play. So, starting off with this, I have myself a Lady of... can't say her right. Lilith, I'm just gonna call her Lilith. Lilith can tribute off his Jack Knight. I don't think that was a good summon, because if I tribute this off, he's not getting any searches whatsoever. But I let him get the search because I am a fool. I'm like, maybe I just Mind Crush the targets out, and I do plan on Mind Crushing out his targets. So he's gonna play Trade-In Engine. See, if you played the Trade-In Engine, I do recommend using the Mech Knight stuff, because if you use the Mech Knight stuff, you have a ton more level 8s to actually throw into the graveyard, and a lot of them are searchable, which makes the Trade-In Engine quite versatile. He's going to Terraforming, he's got the Lair. Now both of us have Lair. The only difference is he's got a full force, he's ready to go and kick my ass right here. And I made a mistake here. I should have actually used Lilith to tribute off his dude, because he just set a card, and as long as I don't put a big monster on board, I'm okay. Unfortunately, this lets me get off my Lilith. I'm forced to use my Lilith to actually set a full force virus. He pops my cards, it's okay. One of them was Supreme King Dragon. I get the punch for free, and now I'm actually spacing out my monster, because now I know he's playing Mech Knight, and I get myself 2 tokens. And actually 3, and then he gives me 2 more, which is, here's the thing, that's actually not good, because now he can actually summon out Jack Knight of Azure or the Blue Sky and get 2 card searches right here. That part really sucks. However, the best part about this is I have a full force virus, and his monster meets my condition. He has 2500 defense, and now I get to pop off his Lilith, which is good for me. That part is unfortunate, but at least I'm not taking any damage. And since there were tributes happening, he's getting a crap ton of tokens. And okay, so now I get to Terraforming. Steam is pretty good. Unfortunately, I didn't have the big dude in there. I had to get rid of his big monster anyway. And here's my Topologic. Topologic, summon a token. Token, blow up the board, and I go for a swing. It's kind of neat that you can actually use links to kind of dark hole your opponent. That's a fun thing you can actually do as well. That's why I really like Steam. And there's one thing that I might have made a mistake on regarding Steam. Now, Steam's effect is that if you special summon him using his own effect, you require other monsters to be black wings to actually synchro with him. But if you normal summon him, on the other hand, you can synchro for anything you want. You can go into a secret black rose, people don't expect it, and then you can also get yourself a tribute play. Because his effect is mandatory to summon out that token, Chainlink 1 will be the token summon, Chainlink 2 will be black rose blowing up everything. So everything will blow up and then the token will come out, then you can do the tribute play, or go to Link Rebo, and then you know how that thing goes. But Link Rebo is very, very good. Unfortunately for you guys in EU, you guys of course don't have him yet, but if you do get a Link Rebo, you have to put him in there, because one Link Rebo can potentially just make your opponent's monster 0 and summon out Diablos. Basically, especially in the battle phase, it could block lethal from that. So this is the second mirror. This is an actual true mirror match now, because my opponent is actually a fan of mine. I'm actually using my real name. I usually use a fake name out there, and this guy is playing a build very similar to mine. You know, shout outs to you. And you can see I'm trying out different techs here. I'm trying out Instant Fusion. I'm trying out Greed. Greed surprisingly worked out a lot better than I thought. Oh, it was just so good. Because it does remove the monster, it doesn't have much condition, and the less condition, the better. I'm even considering Mystic Walk at some point. So I started off, I don't think it's the strongest start, but hey, I had no choice. Instant Fusion will eventually come into play. Monster Reborn had to save it. He's going off. I'm really scared of him getting a virus. He goes Destrudo. That is the one thing you should be very careful in the mirror match, is that your opponent will have all his viruses versus you. You're at a significant disadvantage if you don't have Lair of Darkness on your side of the field. If you don't have that, consider your monsters fodder for your opponent. So he summons out Destrudo, and yeah, this is what happens here. I get to blow up every single card he has. That part sucked. However, because he did get a tribute, he did get himself a Diablos, and I have to eat this one to the face. So he didn't lose completely, but that was savage. So I get myself a Lilith, and I use a Greed to get myself 2 cards to draw, because I know he has no cards in hand. That's why it was like, wow, pot of Greed. That was great. See, how far can I go? He goes full force on me. I lose my Dark Worm, and I lose his Lilith. I use a Monster Reborn on that, but it's okay because, well, Dark Worm is just too good. Here's the Instant Fusion thing. Take the token, go into Destrudo, try to go for a big punch. Dark Strike Fighter. Yeah, that's right. Dark Strike Fighter is one of the techs that I really enjoy, because it means you have 1400 damage. It's like a little Gaga cowboy that's always available, and especially against burn decks. But if you do tribute him off, you can actually summon back out your Diablos. And he is a dark monster by base, and he can also proc off Epidemic Eradicator Virus. So that's a huge bonus there. But in the mirror match, things to be aware of: if you don't have the field spell up, don't summon things that can meet the requirements of a virus, because if you summon stuff that meets the requirement of virus, you will get counter virused, and that part is going to suck so much. Imagine if you summon a big beater and then you get a virus hit on you. That part is the worst. You know what, I'm gonna go into the next matchup here, and it's gonna be against Pendulum Magicians. So against Pendulum Magicians, he's going off first. He got Dragon Shrine. He's gonna do his wombo combo, probably set up like, I don't know, 3-4 negations. That's my guess. He doesn't know exactly what I'm playing, so that's the best part. So he's gonna go pop, 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 Astrograph, Astrograph. Oh, double gate here. All right, King Gate 0, Black Fang. Okay, full setup, full setup. So Norito, Odd Eyes Vortex, Doji Code Talker. Okay, so he's gone full wombo combo. This is the difficult part. Depending on what they negate on you, you can technically just lose, because he has everything. The Decode Talker is pathetic, doesn't do anything. This is sometimes why people would prefer to use Duke Shade, because you can actually just tribute off your opponent's card, especially Odd Eyes Vortex, because Odd Eyes Vortex is a huge problem. Tribute him off, and then you get a free summon. You eat a free negation, so you didn't even get a chance to negate. But unfortunately, I don't have that in hand, so I have to play with what I got. So I have access to 1 field spell, 2 field spells, and I have access to my Dark Worm. Let's see how this one plays out. So going with the Dark Worm, he did not stop it. I'm not sure if they would actually stop this, because if he stopped this, I would have been in a lot of trouble, because my Lure of Darkness definitely won't go through. So I'm going to go with this. He sees the Dragon Ravine, definitely not letting the Ravine go through, because Ravine will actually get me a bunch of setup, but he sees Lair of Darkness. That he has to remove right away, because if I have any card in my hand, like an Econ or something, yeah, he's losing cards. Lair of Darkness, keep going. So this is a way I actually dug into some of my outs here. About Pendulum Magicians, there's one thing that we should note, is that Pendulum Magicians do struggle against high attack monsters, especially ones you can't target, because a lot of the times they out it by using Purple Poison. If you use Purple Poison, you can target it, pop it, that's great, but Diablos isn't exactly one of those dudes where you can just pop it and call it a day. And you can't even tribute him, so he's not even Kaijuable. You can't even Wing Dragon or Raw Sphere mode this guy. What do you do when you put him on board? So seeing that was the case, I decided to go into a Dark Strike Fighter instead of Black Rose. If I go into a Black Rose, I'm really worried that the Black Fang Magician is gonna summon out a guy I can't handle, because he'll be in favor of just doing something. He has a Dragon Shrine in hand. I am still really scared of what he can do, especially when, if I Black Rose the entire board, he pops whatever that I get out, say with the Purple Poison, but the biggest problem is the Black Fang, and Black Fang is most likely going to get a Jackal, and once he gets a Jackal out, I don't think I can come back. So, go Dark Strike, burn him, summon the Lord of the Lair, play the Lair, basically getting rid of his cards here, and swing it over. I left the Norito out here. I have a Virus I can't activate, because if I activate it, I'm going to get OTK'd, so I have to wait. Here's the thing. I can technically Virus his Norito. I waited so long that I forgot that it was a Virus, and he thought it wasn't a Virus either. So kept on going, and he decided to go with the play that would basically try to OTK me at some point. Goes to the Borreload, and I'm like, oh, that's gone. Time to wipe the board of all the problems. And don't forget, that's why you don't go into big beaters while there is, well, a Lair of Darkness on the field. So that's something to be aware of for all matchups. So if you can make a big beater, like Borreload or anything like that, if there's Lair of Darkness, don't do it. You're going to suffer, well, a huge counter attack, and now he's under Epidemic. He's not going to be able to get any cards played correctly, and it's over. If you get Mind Crush, you can crush out his hand as well. And now there's a Full Force Virus. There's no coming back from this. This game is over. So in the Pendulum matchup, it's really scary, because if you play a Lair of Darkness and then they don't do anything, you can just drop a Lilith and they're going to lose at least one card. They have to negate something. And if you take away the monster negator, so if you use Lilith, say he puts out that board, and you get rid of the Odd Eyes Vortex, he can't negate with the other two anyway. So in other words, you set yourself a trap, you pass it back to your opponent, and guess what? Lilith can tribute off the Norito during their turn, and you can break their board again. Now, here's the thing. Just having a Lilith is probably not enough, because your opponent definitely has some way to counterattack you. If they do so, and if you don't have a Lord of the Lair, if you actually have a Lord of the Lair, you're in a very safe spot, because Borreload Dragon is one of the more common ways of actually just taking him, or they can try to boost attack using the Purple Poison. And that's about it for running him over for our Pendulum Magician deck. Of course, there's got to be more options when the deck comes out, but that is all I got for this video here. Hopefully you guys learned a thing or two about this particular matchup. I am wearing a Vegeta shirt right now, just a random fact. And I found my blue glasses. I actually lost these for like a year, and I finally found them, so that's actually pretty neat too. But that is actually my analysis for various matchups so far. I haven't really played against any Trick Stars yet. If you guys catch me online, I would love to play you guys. But this is just my video for today, because I've been doing a lot of upgrades, and it's like midnight right now. Well, I just finished my upgrade, so I know my lighting and my white balance here is actually a bit off. But that is all I got for you guys today. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys learned something about the Diablos, the Lord of the Lair of Darkness decks, and how certain matchups play out, things that you shouldn't do. Hit me up with a thumbs up. If you guys want to see more stuff from MST.TV, hit that subscribe button. I'm gonna get some Blue Eyes stuff coming up because the new Blue Eyes deck, I have to admit, I did lose to a Blue Eyes deck the past weekend in locals. Didn't expect a certain speed, and I did not expect a certain kind of tech that kind of butchered me. I'm playing Pendulum, by the way, and yeah, I got wrecked. Anyways, until next time, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV, and we'll go back to live duels. I know not everyone's a fan of IGO Pro. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please drop us a like so we know we are doing a good job, and you can also subscribe to MST.TV for more fantastic videos by clicking on the button on the left. Don't forget to check out our partners at Imperium Duelist. They make really high quality mats, including some of my own limited edition release stuff. And if you want to check out one of our past videos, click here on the right. As always, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV, and I'll see you next time.